I regard myself as a soldier, though a soldier of peace.
Hey, what's going on, Burn Victim 77, Gary, and anybody else who's interested in the discussion about free will. Sorry I'm getting back to you so late, but I've been going through some stuff over here. But I'm sure it's still a fresh discussion anytime we're discussing something so important and so meaningful anyway. So hopefully it wasn't too long to lose your interest in the conversation here. So if I get it correctly, what you're saying is that you think that what you call libertarian free will does not exist, where the self cannot contradict itself, and out of a group of possible choices, it cannot choose every one of those choices in the sense of one at a time, not all at once. So what you're saying is that something, or the want, which draws, it's maybe more magnetic of a choice that says that is the one I want, so I will automatically choose that, and I will choose it every time, is what you're saying. That's what I'm getting at, or getting out of it. But I can see things like drug addicts and such, where they test mice, and mice will sooner starve to death than not get their fix of cocaine. And in that instant, it goes against the self to choose cocaine, because that is actively killing the body rather than replenishing the body. And so the question is, which is the free will? Are they losing the free will to eat by choosing the cocaine, or are they gaining free will from the food to the cocaine? See, so it's a tough situation where you're saying it's the want that draws the choice into action. What I would say is, yes, there's a whole grouping of choices, and at any one moment, like you said, if emotions take place, the choice may be irrational, and it may contradict the self because of certain elements that are in play. And whether that's free will or libertarian free will or will at all, these are all just labels anyway, because it's, like you said, science is just trying to explain the world as we see it, and sometimes we see it in a new light, because science sheds a little light in the corner over there, and the corners are constantly expanding because the light is expanding that we see with. But they're all just labels. We're trying to label something that we look at the world with, and we try to say, okay, this is what that is, now that's what that is, and then I can discuss it with you because we have it down pat, and say, okay, do you understand this is what that is, and that what that is? Now we can discuss it. Or I can ask you to pick that up and throw it to me, or something like that. But with a concept like free will or something like that, where it's intangible, it's very hard for me to say this is what that is. Can you pick it up and throw it to me? Because something like that is, we can't really grasp it, and we're trying to shed light on it with science and such, and it's something that is in the distance. And so we're on like a frontier where, yeah, maybe science doesn't see free will yet. Maybe it can't see it yet because of the certain restrictions that we have in our technology or our mental capability, whatever it may be. But I like to think of it as to say that it's more than possible that we do have that free will, and there's evidence in certain situations, and we might not have the best evidence, but there is still evidence of that free will. And I would liken it, a great example is, say you're hungry and you need to go get something to eat. You're sitting in your house you have to go get something to eat. So you drive down the street. There's all these different places that you can get something to eat. You choose to go to the mall. Why? Because you're in the mood for some mall food or something, whatever. But you walk into the mall with all these, just walk in one door, and all of a sudden there's all these other doors once you walk into that one door. And so your choices become limited from the outside world, where you just decided that you were going into the mall, and now you're confronted with a whole bunch of new choices. So you walk through the mall and you decide, okay, I want a hot dog on a stick or corn dogs or whatever you choose. You go to that one place and say, okay, I'm gonna eat here. Now that you made that choice, walked in that door, you're confronted with a whole list of other choices that you can make off the menu. So you choose something off the menu, and that's going to be your food, and you choose to eat it. Now, initially, when you started out at your house, you might have had that in mind already and said, I'm going straight there and I know what I'm going to get. Or you might have said, I'm hungry, I'm just going to drive around till I see something I like. Or you might just say, I'm going to go to the mall and see what's good. But the thing is that these choices, new choices, were presented to you at every opportunity. So doors are constantly opening. So if that's part of what I would call free will, is yes, the choices are limited to a certain extent, but at every turn there's new choices because of that past choice that you made. And so it's constantly unfolding like a flower. So I would say I understand what you mean by the nature of the self contradicting itself. But I also say that there's evidence of it taking place. And whether we want something and we choose it are two different things, because we could really want it and choose not to take it because we want it so bad sometimes too. Like, you can go back to the addict, where the addict knows that he's stuck and locked in it, that he knows that he wants it so bad that he says, I choose to walk away from that because they see it as unhealthy to want it so bad, so they walk away. And I would say that those are examples and some evidence of an existence of a will, where it can be chained down for a short time and looked at and maybe molded to say, okay, mainly by the individual, to say, okay, I will choose to remold my will. And that's something that I need to think about, and maybe I'll give it more thought and discuss it further, of the will's action upon itself. Like what your friend said, is if you choose to open up your will even more. I don't know, I probably was rambling on there, and I don't know if I got into anything important, so I'm gonna have to see what you think about it, or somebody else. But I hope that we got a little accomplished with this, and hopefully it won't be so long till my next posting. Until next time, man, peace out.